AskReddit.
What's something small you can start doing today to better yourself? Try to do a random act of kindness for a stranger every day. So many people see other people's misfortune as their fault. I try to see other people's misfortune as a chance to help. We're a very insular and selfish bunch. It would be nice to see that change as a society. Also, picking up other people's litter always improves my mood. Do your dishes before you go to bed. Waking up with a clean kitchen is a great feeling. Allocate time more directly to maintenance of my body and home. I lost 100 pounds this year. All due to diet. I could be a lot healthier if I added 30 minutes of exercise. Then there's my house. After I lost my wife, I had a lot of trouble motivating myself to clean, and now certain rooms are really needing it. If I could allocate even just an hour a day to it, I would eventually be able to get back to regular maintenance rather than feeling helpless every time I open the door to one of those rooms. Lastly, reading. I desperately want to get back into it, and I've succeeded a couple times and loved it. But college broke my spirit of habitual reading, and I'm not sure how to get it back. I usually just scroll by comments, but I have to reply to this one. Sorry for your loss. So sorry for your loss. Regarding the tidying rooms thing, just make sure that every time you go in those rooms you leave them a little tidier than when you went in. Don't do the whole thing. Just pick up one item and put it away. If you feel up to it, pick up 2 or 3. Eventually it will be where you want it to be. Baby steps. And I know what you mean about being overwhelmed. But anyone can leave it in slightly better state. Just do that every single time. Thanks. Fortunately, enough time has passed to where I'm feeling like a competent human being again. I'm glad I've managed to keep the areas guests would see in my bedroom in order. The tricky bit is that this was a really big house on a lot of acreage we got for a song that we've been working to fix up and had been planning on filling with a family soon. So it's like 5 bedroom, 3 bath. I'm just one guy with a full-time job. My brother moved in soon after the loss, and instead of helping me, just kind of sat around doing nothing except dishes until finding a job and moving out a few months ago. Now I'm mustering my inertia to get to it and finally start again. So finding this thread was nice. It's way too much for one person. I love the place, it's just a lot. If I got it in order I could handle it, and I know I need to do it now while winter makes the outdoor work pause for several months, or my weekends outside will swallow my time again. But you're right, if I make it a little better every time, then eventually it'll be a quick job to finish it. Thanks. Make a budget and stick to it. It can change your life dramatically for the better. Man, I worked in blue-collar jobs for a few years, and the amount of shit I got for having the budget, but multiple guys would come back to me and say, "My wife thinks we need a budget like you got," made me feel better. The peace of mind of not worrying about money is second to none. Oh, I have a car emergency? Good thing I have been putting away money for that very problem. Is a much better way to live. I offered many guys the opportunity to lay out finances and I would help them make a budget, and not a single one took me up on it. Hell, even my dad won't let me help him, and he is in all kinds of financial trouble. Edit. Okay, I think I have like 20 people asking me for help with a budget. I am actually kind of on my honeymoon at the moment, so I don't have access to my computer, and mobile is a pain. So here is what I'll do. I will try to do a screen capture of me making a budget and talking through it the best I can and post it. Luckily I do presentations for a living, so it shouldn't be too hard to watch, I hope. I won't leave you all hanging, just give me some time to get back and get through Christmas. Sorry everyone, I wasn't ready for that, but I was toying around with trying to help people with basic budgets for a while, so this could be my excuse. Thanks everyone, be safe, and I shall return. Edit 2. Okay, I got home about 5 hours ago and I just finished the recording, and I am working on getting it to YouTube. Guys, so it is rough, and it's one long video of me explaining whatever I can think of. I wanted to really get this out soon since I don't want anyone to lose momentum on making a change in their lives. So please excuse the audio issues and extremely bad Polish on this video. I had to learn audio setup, recording software, video editing software, and YouTube just to get this up, so please give me slack. I just wanted to provide some help, but in a world of flashy YouTube intros and multi-video playlists, I feel insufficient. I will try to help you all navigate the video the best I can once it is up, and will send it to all. I hope this helps. Write down the stuff you've been putting off and schedule yourself time specifically to get them done. It will keep your mind free from having to constantly remind yourself, and once the task is completed, you're free. I had the best idea I've ever had 2 weeks ago, and it has been going great. I used to make a to-do list, but it would just make me super anxious and feel overwhelmed seeing everything I have to do. So lately I have been just doing tasks throughout the day and only writing it down when I have done it. Now I get to see progress and accomplishments add up, and it's motivating me very well. Call your loved ones, especially the ones who have loved you even through your shit times. Forgive your past self and learn from your previous mistakes. Also, you can improve others' lives by saying thanks. It goes a long way. You can't keep blaming yourself. Just land yourself once, and move on. Homer Simpson. Give someone else a compliment at least once a day. It's as simple as noticing the guy next to you has a stylish tie, or that your coworker's homemade lunch looks tasty. Besides, it always seems to end up making someone's day, and the effort required is so small. Edit. I'm so proud that this is my most upvoted comment ever, grinning face with clenched teeth, and thanks for the gold. If it's not natural to pay a random compliment, I try to just smile at someone every day. Or really as many people as possible. I smile at people I interact with, cashiers, waiters, train workers, etc. Just to pass a little small bit of positivity. Read a book for at least 10 minutes a day. Edit. Wow, thanks for the gold. I'm a firm believer that anyone can love reading. They just have to find their genre. I'm currently working on Dostoevsky's The Brothers Karamazov, but a few of my favorites are Austen's Sense and Sensibility, Emma, and Pride and Prejudice, Hawthorne's Scarlet Letter, and Saint-Exupéry's Little Prince. I try to follow Aristotle's idea that it is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. Read fun things, read hard things, but never make your reading list an echo chamber. Challenge your mind and reward yourself with fun reads too. It'll grow your vocabulary, your ability to reason, and your worldview. Steps off soapbox. Reading for fun is one of the best changes I ever made. I still watch TV and play video games, but reading is one of those things you start to love more than anything once you get into it. Start by writing down a goal, then make a list of smaller achievable milestones on the way to reaching that goal. While you're writing your goals, just write about the day. I write every day, including goals I want to do for the weekend. If I write it down, there is a much larger chance I'll get around to doing it. A few years ago I started writing, like journal style, and I found it to be the single most therapeutic exercise I could do. I'm far from a writer, I'm really not good. Part of the reason I started to writing was for the practice. Open a new Google Doc, put in the date, and entry number 1 and just write about today. Self-reflection is a lost art that all of us should take part in daily. And you know what? It's not all bad. As I started writing, I found that my big problems in life weren't all that big compared to the other challenges I have faced. It's all perspective. It's also really cool being able to look back in time. I have been doing this daily for 5 years, and it has made me such a better person. I don't do it for anyone else, although I did have a date cutely ask, "What did you do on the night of blah?" interrogation style, and I was actually able to answer. She seemed to get a kick out of it. Edit. Because a lot of people are having similar questions, I'll add detail to my process below. So I have a few separate docs. One for each year, they get hefty fast, so I also have a monthly doc. Every month I spill over and paste everything into my yearly doc. Finally I have a master doc where all of my yearly docs empty. It's huge, like over 1,000 pages. Some days I don't have much to report on. Not every day can be the most exciting. But nevertheless, I'm writing something down. I usually get into the office a little early, and while I sip my first coffee, I'll open up Google Docs and write about the day before. Entries average 500-800 words each, but they didn't start that long. About once a week I'll have a nice entry get to like 1,000 words or more. On slower days I'll challenge myself. Like, what are my top 10 favorite movies and why? I'll make a list. It's interesting to write that stuff out because you start to learn about yourself. I'll write daily, weekly, and monthly goals. I'll write about my family, my dates, my crushes. That stuff is always fun. I'll write about what I'm currently reading. I'll reflect on certain passages. I'll reflect on current events. Anything really. It's so strange what you get out of all of this. When someone asks, "What's your favorite movie?" you have a real solid answer. I have that for everything at this point. It's made my conversational life better. It's really interesting to see my writing style change depending on who I'm reading during that month. I've been doing it for 5 years and have about 200 pages a year, sometimes more. I cherish every page. You'll learn along the way. Edit. 2 people are asking for an example. Here's one from this weekend with names and places blocked out. Some of this is super lame, blame Thoreau because I've been reading him lately and my writing reflects it. December 5, 2018. Entry number 2089. I didn't want to hype myself up for last night. Honestly, I didn't even give the date much thought throughout the day. I was nose deep into Excel formulas anyway. But right after work I walked over to ****** Cafe on 16th and *****. It was super hipster. Like, I didn't even fit in there reading Walden. But that's what I did. I read for about an hour before my date showed up. I relished the time alone in the cafe. I put some Chopin variations on, I cracked open one of the most well-written books I have ever read, and fell into the cunning vortex of words that is the world of Walden. Side note, I just realized how amazing the Hangman word vortex is. I'll have to keep that one in my back pocket. After about an hour of self-company, my date arrived. To be completely sincere, I wasn't expecting much. I tend not to in these situations. Far too many have failed or ended in disappointment. Like armor, I prepare myself for the worst in the modern battlefield of courtship. She looked cute in her pictures, but not so to sweat my palms. And because of that, I didn't get nervous. But when she walked in, I was caught off guard, and in my flat-footedness, I didn't put my best foot forward, so to speak. My whole demeanor changed and I immediately became tense. She walked up to the loft where I had positioned myself, and said hi before running down to get herself a coffee. I sat there like a fool, a blinded, baffled fool. Where words escaped me, charm evaded me, anxiety filled the vacuum left over. I said nothing at all to her those first few seconds. I smiled and attended to my book and headphones, moving them from pocket to pocket to distract my attention and to present a busy atmosphere for the time. My own shuffling annoying me as I was buying time. Her fetching of coffee gave me the moment I needed to recollect my brain, and form an impromptu game plan for the tidal wave of excitement that had spilled over my emotional retention wall. By the time he got back, I was back and we chatted for a while about the usual, family, from goals, jobs, passions, dreams, and aspirations. We talked for a long while, conversation never feeling dull, until I asked if she wanted to get dinner because I was starving. She agreed. and we walked over to Good Dog for a bite. There I discovered that she is both a non-drinker in addition being vegetarian. I had actually guessed the second part, claiming that it has been a trend, and left it at that. We ate dinner at ***** and continued to converse. I found out that she has a sister named *****, which is a little odd. And ****, the exact name of my sister's, but I let it slide. Odder things have happened without so much as a second glance. I talked too much, like always. I talked about Theodore Roosevelt, a lot of course, and she seemed into it, and if she wasn't, she faked interest, which is debatably more important. Not wanting to leave the other company, we walked to City Hall and observed an absorbing new sport being played on the ice rink. It was a mix of field hockey and soccer. I had never seen anything like it. All I know is that I wanted to play. We then walked to the big tree, and lulled in its Christmas charm and spirit, while marinating in festive music. I wanted to kiss her. The time and tenor were perfect, but I wasn't quite getting those vibes from her, and there was no alcohol assisting my courage, so I let it be. Something I may come to regret. We called it a night soon after that and made plans to meet again, and soon. I think we are doing something on Sunday and before then, even, if we have time. Is she great? No evidence was submitted to believe otherwise. Maybe a new era is on the horizon. Maybe not, but I like the prospect, and I like the trend I have been seeing in Philadelphia so far. I feel alive here, and I felt alive last night. I took the train home, and reopened my investigations into Walden. The night had gone well, great in fact, and I was riding the endorphins. A welcome pick-me-up after the news on Friday about my job today at the office has been a bit of a haze. It is difficult, knowing that I am not going to be here in 2 weeks, to be interested in any projects. Most projects are wrapping up for the end of the year, and everything else is mostly long-term, meaning I'll have little to no impact. I did have a nice conversation with Elle today. She's been kind to me since the start, and she said that she'll talk to C about my future. Otherwise, I have been mostly working on the Columbia project. I've put some effort into this one for 2 reasons. Firstly, knowing how to use Excel and the formulas is personally beneficial. Secondly, if Columbia does use what I make them, how cool would that be? I have to mention Thoreau. I have been non-stop reading him since I picked up Walden a few weeks ago. My goodness, what beautiful prose. Even if the intent and meaning behind the words are lost on me, the art of the sentences themselves are enough to satisfy. I know Thoreau is a young man's philosopher, but how I resonate with the work. I wish I had read this years ago. Comparing yourself and one's work to what lays on the nightstand is impossible to abstain from. I would have better written my words had I had the experience of knowing Thoreau's.